How many people are like, do you think actually have unplugged from their own bullshit? Because it happens to me daily. Like I had a call earlier today with a guy, and he's telling me that he wants, like, he has approach anxiety. He wants to talk to these tens. They're beautiful. He wants to make the approach, and I'm like, okay, well, tell me a bit about yourself and what you do and what you look like, sort of thing. And he's like, we get to the optics of attraction. It's like, dude's 5'11" and he weighs 220 pounds. I'm like, you're fat. He's like, no, I'm not fat. I just put on a little bit of weight. I'm like, dude,
No, you're fat.
I'm a lot taller than
I'm
you, and
six three and I'm 185 and I'm fat.
yeah, well, dude, like I'm just under 6'3" and I'm about 220 pounds right now. Like I'm fat right now, right? Like I'm normally looking good around 207, 208. I'm like, dude, you're fat. Like let's unplug from the lies and accept the reality. It's like by the end of the call, most of the time, when they start with the lies throughout the call, I know by the end of the call they're not going to do anything with it because
Yeah.
it's not good enough for them because it's too much work, right?
Well, that's it. That's it. Yeah, most people don't want to put in the work, but we also
Rich,
have to
get
be
me the hot
grateful.
girls. Give me the cheat codes
Give
to
me
get
the
me the
silver
hot
bullet.
girls,
Give me the
but I don't want.
vaccine that's going to get me laid.
Right. Give me the vaccine that's going to get me laid. That'll be the next thing. Somebody will come up with a fucking vaccine that'll get you laid.
Yeah, it's well, but we got to be grateful for this, Rich, right? We got to be grateful that most people don't put in the work because then it allows us to do it and shine out. Actually, just the other day was having a conversation with a couple of people and someone who's not totally not they're aware of it, but they haven't necessarily decided if they agree with it. And I shared. Could you imagine if every man was red pilled? We'd be ripping each
Yeah.
other's heads off. It
Right.
would be the most barbaric environment you could imagine, right? And so, and
Yeah,
what's
I've often said it's like a superpower, right? Like once you understand it and then you know how to harness it and direct it, it's essentially a superpower.
well, it's back to in empowering yourself, right? Not being a victim mentality, right? I am not a victim because I'm not sleeping with that 10. I just haven't fucking put in the work to do what I need to do to get that.
Right.
And so, that's where red pill overlies. I probably have actually been more red pill aware than I've realized and given myself credit for because I learned a long time ago that my anything I don't have in my life is because I haven't put in the work, right? All these people whining and complaining about this oppression or that challenge. It's just the excuses are nauseating. So I
Dude,
accepted that a long time ago.
I have that exact same problem with dealing with that space because you and I are cut from the same cloth. We're both entrepreneurs. We built something out of thin air. We created value, employed people, used and put in place all these systems and thing. And you're
Yep.
like me. Like I get pissed off when people complain and they refuse to do the work or they look for reasons not to do it. It's like, well, how bad do you want it, man? Like how bad do you want it?
That's
It's like,
it. That's it. My sister asked for a job recently, and I said, the job's yours if you can get 50 people to show up to this event for us next week.
mhm.
And she just started with the excuses. How would I do that? I don't. No one listens to me on social. I don't. And look, I love my sister, and so I had a lunch with her, and I'm like, look, I don't care about the event.
Mhm.
That's not why I gave you that challenge. I gave that
It was
challenge
a
to
test.
it was a test. Like
Yeah.
you will figure it out. And by the way, there's a really easy way to do it. Just freaking buy all the tickets yourself and give them away. Like I shouldn't have to give you the answers. Like everybody that
That's
complains about something they don't have, it's
right. But I
because
mean,
they haven't done the work.
that's the vast majority of the population out there
Thank
is
God, because otherwise it would
they are
be
plugged in.
even harder than it already is to succeed.
That's that's why when guys are like, well, how do I unplug my friends and how do we spread this information? It's like you don't. Most people don't want to hear it. They
No.
really don't want to hear it and they don't want to act on it. It's like, the trauma has to bring them to it and they have to be willing to want to level themselves up and do the work. And the
Well, and
vast
that
majority of them won't actually do that. They'll just sit back or they'll point and sputter and make up reasons or excuses why they shouldn't do it.
That's right. And I think that's why I get along and speak so highly of and have such a respect for pretty much every red pill guy I've interacted with because they did not play the victim. They can't play the victim and be red pill.
Well, that's a big distinction. Like that's a big difference between guys on the inside and the outside. When I'm talking about guys on the inside, I'm talking about the 1% community that you're referencing, and it's because they decided to put their money where their mouth is. They paid the entrance fee, and now they're in there actually networking, doing the work, showing up at the events, helping each other out. That's that's why that barrier's there. because otherwise it would just be like any one of these other, Facebook groups that I mentioned earlier, the League of Savage Iron Men, whatever, fucking, they're all the same. They're just free groups that people pile into and then like vomit up their shit all day long with nobody actually doing anything with it or taking any real steps, right? That's why you have to have that barrier. Like that's why there's these tiers.
Yeah, 100%. Not to change topics, but I just saw Miguel's question or comment about now that he's started consuming red pill, he actually has less women. Um, and I don't have all the
Miguel.
concepts, right? So like
Hang
that
on a sec.
to me, that's an element of the women he would have gotten wouldn't have been
Is that in the
qualified.
live chat or is that a super chat? Where are you looking for that?
I think he did a super chat, $5. Right.
Okay, here. Why don't we do this? Why don't we hop into super chats? 'Cause I got some people ready to ask some questions. So Alberto says, "How could I have more willpower to follow through with things like exercise, eating healthy, and not waste time on any tips for a 29-year-old?" See, I get the willpower question a lot.
Yeah.
How
You
do I
want me to take it?
stop? Yeah, take it. But it's like, how do I stop using social media? How do I stop fapping? How do I, have the willpower to go and push through on something? Go ahead, man. Let's hear what your thought is on it.
Yeah, I would say, you know, first of all, motivation comes and goes, right? And so being able to do something when you don't really feel like it, that's what discipline is and willpower really is. And the number one thing that I found that has helped me is to get serious about my why and clarity about my why. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to eat healthy? Why do I want to work out more? Because if you don't have super clarity on that, then you've got no destination that you're going to, and you're just experiencing the short-term pain. And it's important to remember that there's discomfort in all choices, right? There's discomfort in getting out of bed early in the morning to get your shit done, and there's
Hmm.
discomfort in staying in bed. The question is, are you going to experience the discomfort now or later? Right? So getting to stay in bed, you feel good for, another hour, you're warm, you're cozy, but then you're beating yourself up later in the day. Right. So you're feeling discomfort and then you're still fat. So when that disease comes in, or you can't do what you want to do, or you're winded, or you don't look good when you approach a woman, then you're feeling pain then. So there's pain in all choices. So choosing the pain that's going to move you closer to your goals. But again, all of that comes back again to what's your why? Why do you want to do these things? And if you have clarity on that enough, then you'll often be able to push through the willpower. Not always. Look, we all slip, right? No one's perfect in their fucking willpower.
Have you read Simon Sinek's Start with Why or seen his TED Talk?
I've seen his TED talk as it relates to like business and start with your why there.
Yeah, but you can apply that to your personal life exactly like you just described. So, here's homework for you now, Alberto, is go on to YouTube or on TED and search for Start with Why Simon Sinek and watch that talk. And he explains it from a business perspective, but the way that my colleague here is explaining about applying to your personal life, it's just drag and drop. R&D stands for rip off and duplicate, right? It's not research and development, rip off and duplicate. Okay, that works over there. Let's bring it over here, sort of thing. Eating healthy is a choice, man. Like you're talking about something as basic as willpower. Like I find it strange, and maybe it's just me, but I just find it strange that there's such an obsession today with no fap. It's like how do you live your life in such a way that you just cannot not go without touching yourself for a freaking day? Like, why is this such a big accomplishment for guys today? Or why is it
Mm.
such a big talking point, for guys today? And it's like, because they're pussies, right? Because most guys don't have basic fundamental willpower. They haven't been driven when they were younger, right? Like, my old man rode me like a horse, man. Like I was the firstborn. I was up first thing in the morning. Didn't matter if I was hungover as a teenager, and I was helping him in the garden, doing whatever it is he needed done, like around the house, because I was basically the unpaid help, right? And if I
Well,
didn't
and
like it, then
that's
I'd have to leave, right?
yeah. And society doesn't value that anymore, right? They value comfort
Right. So now
and abundance
So
and
now, what
all.
does society do to sort of like make up for that? It's like, oh, let's make no fap a thing. Like not touching myself for a day is an accomplishment. Not touching myself for 2 days is a bigger accomplishment. For a week, for a month, sort of thing. And it's like, this is like basic shit, right?
Well,
Like
whether it's no fap or whether it's the
eating healthy.
whole eating healthy, or whether it's, take a cold shower every day for 30 days to start to build discipline. These are all just tools to help
Yeah.
jumpstart these discipline routines that so many of us lack, and myself included, right? But all of it goes back to, none of it is going to work if you don't have a why. And a shortcut to finding your why is you answer that question 5 times, right? Or 4 or 5 times. I want to eat healthy. Okay, why? Well, because I want to be healthy. Okay, well, why? Because I want to look good to get the women I want. Okay, well, why? Because you keep asking eventually, and I'll share my why. My why, when I went through this process at the beginning of last year, was I want to live authentically for my kids. I want to be able to show them what a man who lives with integrity is, not a man that bows to every imposition put on him, or feels like, and actually, here's a great example. We had these vax mandates come down, and I was pretty upset at one point about it, because I thought I might have to lose a pretty major contract of mine. And I realized, how could this be happening for me, not to me?
Right.
And I realized what a gift I've been given to be able to live my actual ideals here. If I lose this contract, at the end of the day, it's not even make or break for my life, but it's meaningful. And what an opportunity. And so I had such clarity. I was talking to another 1%er on the phone one morning afterwards. I actually called like 3 1%ers to talk through it, because the email just came out. But I had my why that allowed me to navigate that challenge. Right. And so, yeah, anyway, back to willpower. Finding your why is the first step. If you don't have your why, or you're just loosey-goosey about it, you're going to crumble every time some opposition comes up, every time you want to stay in the sheets.
Hell yeah. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.